All right, chat. So a couple weeks ago, I asked you guys to submit some questions for my 3,000 subscriber Q&A. I don't know what was. You guys submitted a lot of great questions, so let's take a look at some of them. Also, I do apologize that the video quality isn't that great. I'm using my webcam just because, honestly, I did not feel like setting up my nice camera, so... Let's read some questions. What is something you noticed in your art that has changed over the years and that is drastically different from your past work? So I remember when I was first starting to post Sonic art online, I was really trying to go for like a Sonic Adventure 2 art style, like a Yuji Uekawa art style. That was my favorite Sonic art style at the time. And then over the years, I've kind of shifted a little bit towards like the comic art styles, like the Archie and the IDW styles. I didn't really read the comics that much when I was younger, but going back and reading them now, I just really like how the art styles look. I like how expressive that the characters are drawn in the comics, and I feel like you don't really get that really in the games. Maybe in like the cutscenes, but in terms of like the actual gameplay, not so much. So in more recent artworks, I've kind of started taking more inspiration from the comic art styles, and it is definitely a lot more different than some of the older stuff that I posted like 3 or 4 years ago. So that's probably the most drastic change, I would say. Do you have any bigger plans for your OCs, like making a comic about them? Yes, 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 yes. You think all that lore on their character sheets are just for show? No, I'm writing stories here. I got lore that I need to communicate to the world. No, in all seriousness, that is a big project that I hopefully want to get started on soon, because I've been kind of thinking about it for a while, and I want to eventually start putting pen to paper, or I guess in my case, tablet to drawing tablet. Tablet to drawing tablet? What? Pen to drawing tablet. I do have a story for them in my mind that I'm kind of starting to piece together a little bit. If you guys read their backstories on their character sheets, you can probably piece together the general story that I'm trying to think of here. But yes, a comic for them is the main goal that I want to eventually achieve at some point. The main problem is that writing a whole comic is really time consuming, and sometimes I just find myself busy with other projects. So I think it's just a matter of finding some time to really dedicate to writing the story and fleshing out all like the little details and stuff like that. As a small art YouTuber myself, do you have any tips on how to grow an art channel? Great question. I feel like with any YouTube channel, not necessarily just art channels, really the main thing is just consistency. You want to be constantly uploading. You don't really need to have like a set schedule. Like I don't really have a schedule for uploads, but I think as long as you're uploading fairly regularly, and also if you have a consistent theme across your videos, I feel like that'll really help with continuing to grow your audience. For example, I do a bunch of different art related videos like art tutorials and Sonic OC shorts and just other Sonic related art videos, but the main theme is Sonic art. So I feel like those are probably just like the two main points that I would go with, is consistently uploading and consistently uploading a theme across all of your videos. That, and I would say just really having a good personality and trying to make more friends than enemies online. Kindness goes a long way, and people really appreciate someone who's super down to earth and super chill. So that's what I try to come across as in my videos, and yeah. Hopefully those tips help in your YouTube journey. Will you be making more tutorial videos on things Sonic related, like hair, anatomy, etc.? I do plan on making more tutorials. I definitely want to make more of those this year. A lot of you guys seem to really like them and find them helpful, so I am definitely going to be making more of those. I've had the idea of also just making like character specific how-to drawing videos, like how to draw Sonic, how to draw Knuckles, how to draw Shadow. I've done a lot of character tutorial videos in shorts form, but not really like a long form how-to video like I did with my how to draw vector video. So yeah, definitely gonna be making some more of those in the future. What is the best Sonic soundtrack? Ooh, that is a tough one. God, see, it's so hard to choose because like Sega hardly ever misses with the Sonic soundtrack. So like I really gotta like think about this. You know what? I'm not gonna lie, Sonic Frontiers soundtrack absolutely slaps. Like, I think I might have to give it to Frontiers. I feel like they really leaned into like the more hardcore sounding music, which that music style I grew up listening to a lot, so I might be a little bit biased, but I really gotta give them props for trying something different compared to some stuff that they've done in the past. I've seen some people say Undefeatable is this generation's Live and Learn, and honestly, I would agree. Undefeatable is a banger. My personal favorite song on the Frontier soundtrack is Breakthrough It All, and it's also my personal favorite Sonic song of all time, I would say. In terms of other soundtracks, obviously Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack is super good. Ooh, I think a high-key underrated soundtrack, Sonic and the Secret Rings. That soundtrack, oh my god. I can't tell you how many times I've had Unawakening Float repeated on my playlist, man. Like, oh my god, dude, that song is sick. How has your art journey been as both a content creator and artist in 2024? I think 2024 for you personally was a pretty big year. I mean, we hit like 2 subscriber... Hello, Discord. Shush, please. We hit 2 big subscriber milestones in the same year, which is absolutely crazy to me. I think I have a better understanding now as to the types of content that you guys seem to like the most, and that's, like I said in the earlier question, it's the art tutorials. So, but yeah, I think not just 2024, but in general, there's just something you can take away every single year in terms of how to be a better content creator, be a better artist or musician or writer or whatever you want to be, and in general, just being a better person. And hopefully in 2025, that's no different. What was your art journey like? When did you start? Did you give up drawing at some point? If yes, what made you come back? So I've been drawing pretty much like ever since I could hold a pencil. I've always been into art and drawing, and I think I had a pretty good understanding since I was in like 6th grade that I wanted to do something art related. What exactly that was, I didn't really know at the time, but I will say when I got into like freshman year of high school, I think I was more focused on my schoolwork, and I didn't really focus a whole lot that year on drawing or art really. Like, I remember there was like a project that we had to do in English class. I think we had to like draw something. I don't remember what it was, but I remember looking back on that and just thinking like, wow, the drawings I did in that project were not good at all. I'd show you a picture if I still had it, but I don't think I have that project anymore. There have definitely been a lot of lows in my art journey, and the thing that I kind of remind myself is that with any skill that you're trying to learn, there's going to be peaks and there's going to be valleys. You'll have times where you're riding high on the peak, you're posting like really great content, and then you come down to the valley, you're kind of hitting a slump, whether it just be like creative block or you just don't think you're releasing anything up to your standards. But the cool thing about valleys is when there is a valley, there's a peak on the other side. So you just kind of have to accept that there's going to be times when you're not going to be performing at your best, and you just kind of have to realize that and just take the time to improve and get better. And pretty soon those valleys will become less and less and less shallow. I think in terms of my Sonic art, I kind of think back of that "your Sonic art is good, but it could be better" video. That intro that I did, I know it seemed kind of, you know, like a funny slapstick thing, but there is some truth to it. I find myself comparing my art a lot to other people's artwork, and that can be a little bit detrimental to my mental state when it comes to drawing sometimes. And I think sometimes I just kind of have to remind myself that everyone's going to learn and improve at their own pace, and some people just happen to improve faster than others. I think just reminding myself that really helps with continuing to overcome a lot of my artistic challenges. When it comes to drawing in general, what is your least favorite process to go through? Parts that make you not want to finish a piece. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, sometimes after I do like the base flat colors of a drawing, I start to really contemplate if the piece that I'm working on is actually going to look good or not. Like I'll finish coloring in something and then I'll be looking at this and I'll just be like, oh my God, this looks so bad. For those of you who watch some of my drawing videos and my live streams, you've actually seen this firsthand, because I'm pretty sure there have been plenty of times where I've been drawing or coloring something in and I'll be like, oh, this does not look good. This looks so bad. But you guys will also probably hear me say something like, trust the process, and that's just the way I kind of overcome it. Just know that it's still a work in progress and there's still stuff that you're adding. So while it may look bad now, once you start adding in all the shading and the highlights and like the pretty background, then it'll definitely end up looking a lot better than the moment that I looked at it and was like, oh my God, it looks so bad. So if you're ever drawing anything and you just think that it looks like complete crap, then just trust the process. Keep going, finish it all the way through, and then maybe you'll see that it actually wasn't as bad as you thought it was. What made you want to share your art online? Okay, so J Creative lore incoming. It's peak COVID season, like the middle of 2020. I'm stuck at home. I got nothing to do, can't go anywhere. And I forgot what moment exactly it was that made me want to start drawing like Sonic art specifically, but I was probably browsing like Pinterest one day and just looking at some like cool Sonic art ideas, and I was like, huh, I could probably get really good at drawing stuff like this. So I just spent a lot of my free time just sketching Sonic art in a sketchbook. This sketchbook right here is the genesis of a lot of J Creative ideas. Like as you can see, I definitely was trying a lot of different Sonic drawings. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this is just an example of some of my early 2020 pre-J Creative art pieces. I was trying a lot of different art styles, a lot of different, you know, techniques and stuff. And then just randomly one day, I decided to take one of the sketches that I was working on and turn it into a TikTok. And that ended up being a Crash Bandicoot art piece TikTok. That was the first ever J Creative video I posted technically. I didn't really have like any intentions though of like becoming like a Sonic art creator. I think I just wanted to just try it out, see if I could build some sort of following. If I did, cool. If not, whatever, you know? So, but thankfully I started getting a lot of views, a lot of followers, and the rest is history. What inspired you to get into making Sonic OCs? Ooh, okay. I don't really remember the moment where I was like, oh, I want to start making Sonic OCs. If I had to guess, I probably was just either looking through Pinterest or Twitter, and I probably just saw like a lot of people's Sonic OCs and thought that they looked really cool, and I probably thought to myself, hey, I could give that a try. I will say though, I remember the specific art piece that it was that inspired me to draw Orko. I don't remember the artist's name, but I'll put the art piece somewhere over there if I can find it. It was a drawing of a gender bent Tikal, like a male version of Tikal, and I was like, ooh, this looks really cool. I could probably make like an Echidna OC with like the same vibe. And yeah, that ended up becoming Orko. And then I thought to myself, wait, he needs a friend. He's gonna be all lonely if it's just him. And then that ended up becoming Zephyr. And then 2 OCs turned into 3, and then 3 turned into 4, and so on and so forth. If someone is wanting to get into Sonic fan art, what's the best place to start in terms of getting familiar Why is that word so hard to pronounce? What's the best place to start in terms of getting familiarized with drawing the main characters? To be honest, I think the best way to start is just looking through a lot of different Sonic art styles. Sega is definitely not shy when it comes to posting any Sonic related art, especially for the Sonic channel. So I think just taking the time to just kind of look through all of those art pieces and just kind of get an understanding of like what the art style kind of looks like, if that makes sense. Like what the aesthetic is, like what do the outlines look like, what do they use for colors. I think another great way is to also look at different character reference sheets. For those of you who know Tyson Hess, who has done a lot of art for the IDW comics and just Sonic in general, he's actually uploaded a lot of 360 turnarounds for a lot of the characters. So I think taking the time to practice redrawing those poses in the 360 turnaround, I think that'll really help with getting a better understanding of the proportions of like the arms and the legs, how tall each character is, how long their quills are, how long their hair hangs down. Just all those little things can really be studied and understood by looking at those reference sheets. So those are some pretty good places to start, I would say. Are you gonna be making merch of your characters and your art someday? Yes, that is something I wanna look into actually this year. I've actually been talking with a couple people about how I kind of want to start selling prints of different art pieces that I've created. And I do want to make merch with my OCs on them. I've actually kind of thought of some designs that could be really cool. My thing is with merch is I don't want to be like most YouTubers where they just slap their logo on a different colored t-shirt and just call that merch. No. I want to actually like do full-on designs. Like I kind of want to like curate like a clothing line of like different designs of my OCs on them. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, if I'm gonna do OC merch, I'm going all the way. I'm really thinking about it. And in terms of like selling the merch and like selling prints of my art, I just don't really know how to go about doing it. So that's something that I kind of need to learn first before I actually start doing it. But I definitely want to look into that this year. What got you into the Sonic franchise? Okay, so I'm going to take you back to like 2008. Little 9-year-old Jake is a huge Mario fan. He's got like all the Mario games. He's got giant Mario stickers on his wall. And then one day he sees the trailer for a new video game with his favorite character Mario in it called Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. And Mario is side by side with this weird blue alien creature named Sonic, who I had never even heard of at the time. But the game had Mario, so of course I'm gonna ask for it for Christmas and I'm gonna play it. And then of course, because I am the Mario fanboy that I am, when I get the game, I start playing as Mario for a little bit. But then after a while, I wanted to actually try playing as Sonic. And I did, and something in my brain just kind of clicked. Like, there was just something about Sonic that 9-year-old me just thought was insanely cool. You kids nowadays say that someone radiates aura. Sonic was radiating a lot of aura for me back then. Just the one-liners that he delivered in that game were just way cooler than someone who had spent their whole childhood growing up with Yahoo! Let's go! Wahoo! Just everything about Sonic was cool. Like, his design was cool, his shoes looked cool, he had an attitude which was super sick, and that led me to wanting to play more of his games. And I remember the first Sonic game I actually played was Sonic in the Secret Rings. I know, what a great one to start off with, right? Nah, despite the motion controls being absolutely garbaggio, the overall like aesthetic of that game honestly still was really cool. Plus that cover art with Sonic's chest on fire, with him like holding like his hand out with the ring on, like, again, you kids would say radiating aura. But yeah, I've been a Sonic fan ever since, and I won't lie, we did go through some dark times, especially in the 2010s. I actually remember during that time period, I actually kind of drifted away from Sonic because I wanted to, one, play more of the games that my friends were playing, which were like the first-person shooters like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and all that. Plus, in the 2010s, as you all probably know, Sonic really didn't have that good of a run. We had Lost World, which, depending on your opinions, it could have been good or bad. I thought it was okay, I guess. Those god-awful Boom games were really not that good or really appealing to me in my eyes. Funnily enough, the game of all games that brought me back into the Sonic franchise, though, was a game that a lot of you probably don't like, and that's Sonic Forces. Now, I'll admit, It's really not that great of a game. It's kind of mid, but there was just something about it that just kind of drew me back into the franchise. I don't know if it was the fact that I had the opportunity to be a self-insert character, or if it was because Infinite's theme song sounded so cool and Infinite's design as a villain was really cool. If I had to guess, it was probably a combination of all those things. And ever since then, I've been kind of riding like an all-time high in terms of like my Sonic fanness, or whatever you want to call it. And I think now in the 2020s, Sonic is probably at a height that it hasn't been at since like the adventure era days. So I'm really excited to see what comes next for this franchise and what really cool games, projects, movies, whatever it may be, is in store for us. All right, and that was the last question. So hopefully you guys found all of my answers helpful, insightful, whatever you want to call it. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I truly appreciate it. And if you guys are new around here, why not check out some of my other videos? Like I said, I post a lot of awesome Sonic art content, so if that's the kind of content that you're into, please subscribe, turn on that notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.